Okay, hey, you know what? I need you to help me with my Spotify.
What do you mean?
Well, I have my dad bod workout list, and it plays stuff that's not on my list. Like it suggests stuff, and it annoys me.
I'm pretty certain that's a problem. Like that's user error.
Well, the AI doesn't know what I like, and I need you to fix it.
You're hitting a wrong button for sure.
No, I'm not hitting a wrong button.
I'm positive you're hitting a wrong button. I'll fix it.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to. Welcome back to Talking Story. This is great.
You're gonna make a big sniff right on the intro?
Yeah, you like that?
No, that's horrible.
Okay, welcome back to Talking Story. Spring is in the air, and my allergies are acting up a little bit. My snaz is running, and it was a great day, a beautiful day here. We were outside working, clearing out the leaves, unburying the front and backyard from the winter, and it was just a great day. I hope spring is in the air where you are. I hope it was beautiful. I hope you had a great week filled with 5-star reads. And I hope you're ready for the time change if you have it where you are, because I don't think I'm going to be feeling good tomorrow morning.
Why not?
Because we're losing an hour of sleep.
Oh, I wasn't listening to the things you were saying.
This should be no different.
Yeah, that's par for the course, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely true. So first, let's get to what I was reading, but who cares? What is most important here is Jakob finished a book.
I finished a book approximately, well, let me look at a clock. How long have you recorded? I'm going to say I finished a book 8 minutes ago.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. Finished it. Completed.
Your high level of excitement makes me
This is a huge achievement.
I don't know about a huge achievement.
Huge achievement, absolute huge. So you finished
Golden Sun.
Yes, and what did you think?
I thought it was amazing.
You're happy with it.
There were a couple small
You finished it 8 minutes ago. How many minutes ago did you have to reach for Morning Star?
I'm going to say 7.
Exact. I told you the ending is...
Well, the pace slows down so much, because the whole book is so fast-paced all the way until, the last 2 or 3 chapters.
Yeah.
And there's 2 chapters where it's, pretty slow, and then a, decently big thing happens. You're like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of fizzles out. And then everything happens within the last, 8 pages.
It lulls you. It lulls you into a false sense of security.
Things go wrong pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, step up from book 1?
Yeah, definitely step up from book 1. I loved it a lot. I do think there are a couple things I would like to see him get better at with his writing, but...
Such as?
I'm sure he will. I had a lot of issues. Well, not a lot of issues. This all feels like nitpicking.
Yeah.
Because it was so great.
Well, you don't have to. If you don't want to nitpick, don't nitpick.
In the first book, I had issues with, because the pace was so fast, he wouldn't give me much time to adjust to where we were in time and space.
Yeah.
And suddenly we'd be in another room, and I'd be, oh, okay, I guess we're here now. Now, I kind of just want to know what the places look like. He doesn't describe... the Citadel much, or he doesn't spend a lot of time on his environments.
I think as you move forward, you will be happy with that progression.
Okay, yeah. I thought so.
Yeah,
but that's my next thing I'd like to see.
I think you'll notice. I think probably by Morning Star you'll start to notice a change in that.
Oh, okay.
Situation. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to read it then.
Okay. Well, I'm. If you could finish another, that'll be amazing. If you finish another book.
I feel patronized.
No, not at all. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. So what was I reading while he was actually finishing a book? I wrapped up Sledge by Nick Horvath. This is, as I described it last week when I was kind of halfway through, or a little bit more than halfway through, I think. What a throwback book. It's that high-octane action-adventure, non-stop. It's hard to explain. I do think he nailed it pretty much all the way throughout. It's something that's not done a lot of. I love the character. I love the world. I love that it's going to keep going. The one thing, if I were to nitpick, the one thing I would say is the ending. It kind of follows our man Sledge is kind of pulled into an underworld deathmatch situation run on the dark web. And not that he wants to be, but he's pulled into it. He can't get out. He gets wrapped up further and further into this. And he has kind of a battle after battle to figure out what's going on, and then pulled into deathmatch battle after deathmatch battle. So the final ending of this is yet another deathmatch battle. So it kind of follows that video game, and it's even mentioned in the book. They base this dark web situation on a video game type of structure. But a video game, for those of us that have played video games, we kind of realize at the end, they kind of amp up the difficulty. So that last battle, when you finally clear it, feels amazing because of the patience you have to have for not throwing a controller through the screen, and your thumbs are worn out from the twitch reactions you've had to build up learning the moves. So we didn't have that. So we just have yet one more battle. And it was awesome. It was fierce. It was brutal. It was in your face. But so many other the battles before that were as well. So I just felt like it didn't quite have the feeling of climactic fireworks going on because we had been through so many different battles with Sledge. If I could compare it to anything, somebody writing kind of in this space that I absolutely have a great time with is Jonathan Mayberry, and he does his Joe Ledger series. And Joe Ledger goes through one scrape after one scrape after one battle, but there's always that plot element of a ticking clock. The battles are not the thing per se. It is the mission overall of what they're trying to do, which is an overarching structure layered on top of the battles. So as he moves up, the battles don't seem to just stack up. There's always something over encompassing all of it that has a ticking clock type of element. I do think, and again, nitpicky, I had such a great time with this. I cannot wait to see this artist on his journey, Nick Horvath, come out with book 2 and start to realize, oh, I'm going to start layering in these type of plot structure devices like the ticking clock. I'm going to get further into things like Jakob is describing with Pierce Brown, more visual descriptions of places, although he's actually pretty good. I pretty much saw everything going on with this. I'm not nitpicking there. I'm just saying I'm all in on this artist journey. I'm excited. There were some shoes dropped at the end that it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. That sets up the further adventures of Sledge, and I cannot wait for book 2. And Nick, if you're watching this, hit me up, buddy. Let me know when book 2 comes out, because I am all in on your progression as an artist and an author and where you move forward taking this character into his adventures in the future. The one thing I will tell you, this is a mean book. This book will challenge you. This book is, like I say, a throwback, and it's written as things were back when there weren't safe spaces and we didn't care about trigger warnings. And they're good. This is like my uncle when I was a little kid, and they would find that scab and they would just mash on it and go, does that hurt? Yes, it does. There are words used in this that will make you cringe. There are situations that will make you close the book. The book will trigger you. It is brutal. It holds nothing back. So I'm not saying there's a possibility. I'm saying you will be triggered. But I absolutely enjoyed the ride, and I'm absolutely all in on this indie author's journey to what comes next, and I'm excited to see where he goes. After that, I picked up T. Kingfisher's What Feasts at Night. This is the second novella in this series. I had read the first novella at the beginning of the month, What Moves the Dead, and I'm doing a buddy read with Britton over on his channel, Some Okie Dude. We're going to cover the first book on one of our channels, the second book on another one of our channels. I think that'll all start probably very beginning of next month due to scheduling and life and things like that. But I was excited because I liked this one so much. I was excited to dive into this, and I was not let down. It was so great, and this is just a very short break with a very short book in between, but I was so happy to see these characters again, Alex Easton and Angus and Mrs. Potter, and I was so happy to go on another adventure with them. And Miss Kingfisher did such an amazing job with this, again, interweaving an atmosphere of a gothic story. This time we get a ghost story, but again, multi-layered in a way that really appealed to me. It's not just a ghost story, and it's so hard to do those well, so hard to do a good ghost story. But this is a ghost story used to really examine the ghost that we all carry in our own psyches. Those grief moments, those guilt moments, those moments that scar us and leave a mark that we have to heal ourselves from, those moments that tend to come back and haunt us over and over again. I'm not saying that there's nothing supernatural going on and there's not a ghost here, but it's used as a mirror for these characters that have been through such a bloody, bloody conflict and such moments of all-out war and combat that they're just now starting to heal. And she does such an amazing job of describing and writing soldier's heart, or as we have come to call PTSD. I just absolutely love the ghost story manipulation, going deeper into the interpersonal psyche of these characters. And it was just a huge win for me. And I'm going to break my own rule, Jacob.
Which rule is that?
I'm breaking my rule where I said I'm not going to do novellas as best read of the month, because both of these together are kind of the length of a full. They're each about 150 or so. So together, they're right around 300 pages. I'm going to call this a read because right now it is absolutely the front runner for book of the month. These two books, I really, really enjoyed them. So I'm going on notice now that I be prepared. I might break a rule.
I'm going to say that's unallowed.
Get over it.
And I'm going to have to rebel.
Get over it. Since I'm holding this in my hand right now, and I finished this and talked about it, I think week before last. But when I did talk about it, and when I want to go back to this, if I can just get in my way back time machine and go back to this for a moment, because I talked about how much I enjoyed looking at gender identity in the structure of a classic Gothic story. And Esme out there hit me up on comment and said, I do believe the best way to look at the character of Alex Easton here is as a complete non-binary character, not necessarily a female or male. And it's like, I couldn't let go of that comment. And it really got me to think, and it really got me to ruminate more and more on this book and what Miss Kingfisher has done by using a language from a country that she has created, Galatia, and using this language with different pronouns, var, von, car, con, taking us outside our comfort zone of the pronouns that we're so used to seeing and hearing, seeing on the page and hearing in our ear. What I found myself doing during this read was leaving behind all those ideas of gender definition that I have when I'm building a character in my head. As I say, I'm a very visual reader. I started leaving all those behind because I'm not seeing the tried and true gender pronouns on the page. So I started to think of Alex Easton in different terms. I started to think of Alex Easton in ways of loyal, stalwart, courageous, highly capable, heroic. And these were the things that I was building this character on my head on. I was cataloging, and it was in my head almost an entirely complete meritocracy of this character's actions and reactions, as opposed to me coming to the character with any type of preconceived ideals of gender. So what I think Miss Kingfisher was able to do here is truly phenomenal. She, in my head, created a meritocracy where gender is not even an element. And once we can dream it, we can do it. So what an amazing, striving thing for an artist to accomplish during my read. And I absolutely want to thank Esme for hitting me up with that comment and making me go back over and spending some time with it in my head. That's what makes what we do here on BookTube so special. It's not that we just read it and set it down and think about it. We have discourse back and forth through comments and other means. That she hit me up on Twitter today, and it's like, I absolutely love this journey of being stretched as a reader and being stretched as someone appreciating a piece of art. Because, I mean, your Da's old.
That is true.
Your Da's old.
You're very old.
And he's set in his ways. I can't fix my own Spotify. I'm like my dad, whose VCR just flashed 12 unless I fixed it.
I would not say you're a person that's very set in your ways. You can be stubborn and have issues with technology, but you're always willing to learn. I think that's why you read so much.
Well, I have a huge debt for Esme for that comment to make me think. And also this does, as I did say, it does take on the female gender in a classic structure through characters like Madeline Usher and Miss Potter. Such amazing ways to take on the gendered portrayal of feminism in the classic structure. That is there as well. So I don't want to lose sight of that because I truly enjoyed it also. But Esme, thank you so very much. And everyone, thank you so very much when you hit me up with comments and make me go further into my own mind and the exploration of what it is we're reading here on the channel. It means the absolute world to me. And you're gonna fix my Spotify. Okay, so after that, I still wanted something kind of quick. I still wanted something that I could just blaze through. And we did kind of change our TBR this month. We were going to do, as part of our Cosmere catch-up, one read a month. We were going to do the next book in Mistborn Era 2. But we had to throw a book on at the last second because we're going to have my friend come on and be interviewed. So I had to throw that book in this month. So I had a shorter read for the Cosmere. I read the last story in Arcanum Unbounded, Sixth of Dusk. And after Edge Dancer somewhat letting me down, this did not. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the character of Dusk and the character and also the themes of whether we're worthy of it or not. Somehow we got to the top of the heap ecologically on this planet, and how good of a steward are we going to be, and how much time does that give us on our evolutionary clock. And I just thought it was done so well with such a deft touch magically, and I absolutely had a great time with it. And it made me, again, sometimes the best fantasy world can hold up that social mirror and think and make you think about your own world. And it absolutely did this in just, I think it was like 40, 50 pages. So it was a great, strong way to end this book of short stories and novellas by Brandon Sanderson. And Sixth of Dusk was a winner for me. I did have a great time with that. And then after that, I picked up no more time for little short reads. We got to get into it. We got to get into the buddy read with me and Josh at Red Fury Books and Usman at Bards and Books, because I was so excited to hear when we do our discussion for the last book of the Five Aura Angels, the third book in the trilogy, Mr. Brian Lee Durfee himself is going to join us.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. I don't know if you know this, but he hosts the best, most exciting television show in the entire universe.
I think I've heard that somewhere, not just once, but maybe a few times.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I think it must be true, because I've heard it more than once as well. And for him to join us and talk about his work it's made me want to grab this and get past the short reads and get into the chunker of the month. And I'm going to say I'm about 500 pages in. I'm getting close to that halfway mark. If I'm not 500 pages, I should be by the end of the night. To stay on track, to stay on target for my monthly reads. And this guy, man, I'll tell you, I would have loved for him to have all 5 of his books that he wanted to have. Because I think some of the characters motivationally are getting to where they need to be for this journey to reach the finish line, maybe before motivationally I think they would as a character if he'd had more time to get them around to where they need to be. I think it would have been exactly what he wanted, and I feel like I'm getting what the publishing industry constrained him to do, and I wish I could have had all 5 of his books. But other than that, no holds barred, all out swashbuckling action adventure with the extra layer of having questions about faith and where that comes from, and religious texts and what that means to a society. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a great time with it, and I can't wait to talk to the man himself and maybe get some tips on hosting
the greatest show in the history of the universe.
That's not what we have here.
But if we get some tips on the real host himself,
if we get some tips, and then maybe the man himself retires or something. But he just said he's nowhere near about to retire. So
well, then we'll never top him.
Maybe we could just be a runner-up, or in that realm, or something like that.
We will be a great show in the history of the universe.
We will dare to dream. One of the great shows in the history of the universe. What am I going to grab after I finish this? I will be finished with this if I stay on track and on target before we're back here again a week from today for our Sunday Weekly Reader. I'm going to pick up that book we had to add this much that made us change our TBR, The Peculiarities by David Liss. This is a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine. I did not know this book was out. How good of a friend could he be, right?
Well, how good of a friend could you be?
Yeah, I didn't even know he had a book. I didn't even know he had this book out.
Shows what you know.
Right? So I immediately grabbed it off the shelf. I think it had hardcover release that I missed.
Horrible friend.
Horrible friend. So I grabbed it off the shelf and immediately...
Not only did you not know that there was a hardcover release, you got in contact with him and he didn't even know that you moved to another state 5 years ago.
Yeah, actually closer to 6.
Is it you've been here for 6 years?
I think it's coming up on 6, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Horrible friend. I have no defense. You may step down, sir. There's no further questions. You have no defense.
No. I think my point's been proven.
Oh, your point's been made. Your point's been made, fine young sir. So I had to grab this. I had to reach out to him, connect again with him since I had lost track, and ask if he would please come on the channel. What a great guy. He's one of us. Loves all the genres we do, loves the books we love. I can't wait to hang out with him. I can't wait to talk to him now that he's kind of gone all in on SF and F, because he is writing, I think, a series for younger readers in SF. And I haven't read this yet, but going off the back and going off his vibe when I email him back and forth, I think he's kind of all in on his fun zone, which is fantasy, a little bit of a gaslamp, steampunky, historical fiction, wonderful Tootsie Roll pop around a Tootsie fantasy center. And I can't wait to get to this. So as soon as I finish that, I will be into this when we come back next week. And that's the stack. That's all that's going on, reading-wise.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm going to read so much more than you this month.
Nothing would make me happier.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
I'd retire.
You are the fastest reader in the history of the universe.
No, that's nowhere near true. Just look at let's click on over to Andrew's Wizardly Reads and see what he's blown through already.
Yeah, but Andrew reads like the first 3 chapters.
No,
and then he puts it down.
I'm not talking about what he DNRs, which is the list is probably massive, but I'm talking what he actually finishes is still impressive as well. So last week on the channel, we got up to closing out the month of February. We did our book haul from February that we weren't even planning on, but Jacob drugged me to 2 or 3 bookstores, maybe buy a bunch of stuff. And then...
That's not what happened.
That's exactly what happened. And then we wrapped up over everything we read of the month, and we picked our book of the month. For those of you that missed it, go back and take a look, see what one book of the month. We now have 2 books of the month. I can't imagine. We'll see if both those make the best of year-end list.
I don't know. We're pretty early on in the year.
We're pretty early on. Although
the one that you picked for book of the month last month, I think really... did something to you.
That one left a mark. I mean, that one really hit. That one blew my hair back. That's
really
one of those
enjoyed
that
it.
blew my hair back.
Yeah.
No doubt. So what do we have coming up for this week on the channel? Okay. I've got a spot. In my, what is this, March. Next month is April.
Yes.
I've got a spot in my April TBR for that palate cleanser book, that sorbet of a book, that book that's not a big chunker of a fantasy, just something to kind of, just like you bring in a change-up off the bench, a little bit of a change-up pitch on my TBR. So we're going to look at 5 different books on Tuesday, and I'm going to put it up to you guys, and you're going to vote in the comments and let me know which one of those 5 is going to be my change-up read, my sorbet read, my palate cleanser read for the month of April. And last time you guys picked a book for me, I got to read The Warlord Chronicles, so I can't wait to see what you pick for me this time. I pulled 5 off my shelf. I can't pick. I'm going to leave it up to you on Tuesday. So we got that coming Tuesday.
Very exciting.
You can't vote. You're too close.
What do you mean I can't vote?
No one inside the family can
I
vote.
watch the channel.
No,
I'm a viewer.
I'm
a loyal fan to the fastest reader in the history of the universe.
Well, that would not be me. You'll have to tell me who that is first off.
I'm a pretty loyal fan of Andrew.
So am I. He's the best. He's really great.
He is great.
Yeah. Dare to dream. Someday we'll get there. Okay, so we're leaving it up to you. You're going to pick that for me. And then I let you down. We let everyone down.
Me?
We, both of us.
Oh, I thought you let me down.
Well, that happened daily, probably. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, we told you last week we were going to hit Dune 2 and be able to talk about it, and we didn't. It was just one of those weeks. Work was rough, and I just, in the evenings, I didn't feel like leaving my Fortress of Solitude. We just did not make it to the theater. So this is what we're doing. We're going to say on Thursday, for our Thursday video, Jacob and I are going to sit here and talk about what we thought of Dune 2, because that is going to make us go to the theater this week and see Dune 2.
I don't know. I'm not really feeling it.
Now who's letting who down?
Am I letting you down?
Yes.
Well, that makes me happy. Maybe I'll just stop reading altogether.
No.
We'll go for 2 for 2.
No. We're going to see.
No, we'll be ready on Thursday.
Yes. Jacob is going to take, being a young filmmaker that he is, he's going to take the film side of it. I'm going to take how close of it to the book it was, or what I felt of a lifelong fan of Dune. Not lifelong, but I read it back in high school, and I'm, years old now, and I've read it several times over
87?
the years. Yeah, so, would you say?
87?
No, not quite. So, I'll be taking it from that, like, oh, lifelong fan, what did I think? How did Denny V do? How close did he get to the book? I'll be taking it that way. Jacob will be just taking it strictly as a young filmmaker looking at someone who is pretty much at the height of his game.
I'm sure I'll be nudging you quite a bit in the theater going, what's going on?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
If it's like the first one.
The first one, I had to have a long talk with you.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it with you. I watched it on my own and was quite confused.
Yeah. Then you had to come and get the whole Cliff Notes.
Made me feel like an idiot.
So that's what we're doing on Thursday. We're going to lay out our Dune reaction for you. And that being on the schedule is going to push us to go see it this week. So thank you for that little extra nudge, because it's really an important father-son movie night I want to do. We just didn't get to it this week, and I feel like we let everybody down.
How dare you?
I know. It's not fair. So other than that, I mean, I would normally at this point go into like what I've been watching TV, but I didn't go see Dune. And honestly, other than my Spurs, I watched a couple Spurs games. Other than my Spurs, I did not get up to watching anything. I just was kind of laid low at the end of some work days, and I didn't get anything watched.
Because you're reading too much.
Well, I am reading quite a bit, and I'm not going to complain about that. I'm loving what I'm reading.
You just got to stop reading. That's the answer.
No, not going to stop reading. I just got to squeeze in some things. I'm going to squeeze in, what's that HBO series?
Which one?
With Jodie Foster.
Oh, Night Country.
Night Country. Yeah. I'm going to start that this week, and we're going to go see Dune 2 this week. So we are going to rectify the viewing situation this week. Night Country, from what I hear from Jacob and my wife and some others, is that by the end of that 6-episode arc, they lean pretty hard into cosmic horror. So that's all I need to hear. Not just the little Easter eggs or the little hints or the things from season 1, which I really enjoyed. But they really lean all the way in on this most recent season.
I still think that season 1 is a better season of television.
Well, I haven't watched the last season, but I mean, that was a great season.
Oh, you haven't seen season 3?
I've seen, is that the Night Country one?
No, this is season 4.
Yeah, I haven't seen season 4.
The new one is Night Country season 4.
I've seen seasons 1 through 3.
Season 1, I think, is
season 1 so far is hands down the best.
Yeah,
hands down the best.
But they do just kind of throw hints at cosmic horror.
Right, they do this throw hints, and you say this one they really lean in.
Yeah, there's not a ton of hints by the end.
Yeah, it's there.
It's out there.
Yeah. So I really want to see that. So I'm going to start that this week, and we will be back Thursday with a complete reaction to Dune. So the viewing situation is going to get amped up. The reading, as always, will remain amped up. As you can see, we're going through a lot of things here to talk about. And again, thank you so much for talking about them with me. We started this channel because I wanted to find some new authors that I hadn't been reading, hadn't been doing, and I wanted to find some peers and some people to discuss and have discourse with of what was going on, and to push me and make me think and to make me enjoy my reads more. And wow, you guys have not let me down at all. The comment section are everything to me. Right down there, let me know what your favorite book was last week, what you're into. What do you think about what we are into? Again, Esme, you keep challenging me. You keep coming at me. I absolutely love it, and I appreciate it. And everyone else as well. Hit me up in the comments. And while you're down there, hey, you see that? Hey, that little Fonzie thumbs up there? Click that for us. It helps us do everything here. Helps us grow the channel. Helps new people find us. And if you are new people and you found us, maybe you've seen it a time or two. Maybe it's your first time. It's like, hey, I like that doofus.
That guy's old.
That guy's old. And he talks maybe a little too fast, but
he looks like he's 87 years old.
He's pushing 87, easily pushing 87. But I think I want to watch more of these two people. Well, you're not watching him, but I want to hear more of him, watch more of him. Hit that subscribe. It's so easy. It's like a second, it's done, and you'll be able to hang out with us more and push me beyond my comfortable old man calcified boundaries of what I'm reading and make me think about them in more modern and amazing ways. And that is what I'm here. So thank you guys so much. It has been another great week. I hope you guys have another great week. Try and get some rest if you're dealing with that time change. And I hope spring is in the air where you are, as it is for us here today. It was a lovely day. My name is John Minton. That is Jakob Minton, who is piping up over there.
You don't have to give me an I just sit over here and say things about how old you are.
Yeah.
To throw you off.
Over and over again, apparently. And this has been Talking Story.